Welcome to Decision Loop, the podcast from RELEX Solutions, where we speak with the experts driving transformation across retail, manufacturing, and consumer goods. From AI pilots at scale to data readiness, governance, and the human side of automation, this show is your signal through the noise. Because a lot of these initiatives do fail to scale, it's very common to come across an executive who's been burnt by AI. And so they can't sort of, it's here. And it's really, you have to get on board. But there's an awful amount of personal risk that's involved for them. Say that you were sort of like in a situation where you had to decide which approach to take. What criteria would you use to decide whether to custom build it or buy off the shelf?
This comes down to quite like a few fundamental parts of a journey. So the key parts of that journey, I think, are understanding what the idea is and what the benefits of that are. So is it a increase in customer numbers? Is it an increase in your revenue? Is it decreasing costs? All of that can then get you to a position where it can give you a front line. What's the net benefit? And how do I measure that against your strategic OKRs? So is this strategically aligned? Is it generating revenue? Is it reducing costs? What's the revenue implications that that particular AI idea has? You then start to say, well, what's the investment level that's required to be able to build this? So if I was to build it from scratch, what would that cost in terms of its full investment capability? That's the just building it thing. So if I was to build it, how many people do I need? What do I need to procure from large language models? What do I need to procure from other third-party models to be able to build this thing and make it work? If I was to then buy a solution, what's the cost that has to be able to integrate that solution into our enterprise stack to make it work? And then the third situation is where you then look at the blended approach. Say, well, this particular tool works for 60-70% of our solution, but I still need to then add another 30% and build onto it to make it work exactly as I need it to. So if you can then take all of those things, what you can get is your increase in revenue, your decrease in costs, what that does to your front line. You've then got your build cost in terms of what it would be to either build it or to buy that solution in, and you can make a intelligent decision based on that to get to your return on investment.
So it seems like it's a cost benefit analysis basically for each particular approach.
With a level of strategic alignment and everything that then goes in that to be able to make sure that works. What that gives you, though, is the point version of that's the thing that is, what do I need to get this over the line? It's not then take into account the thing that we started discussing earlier, which was maintenance costs, because what you need to then look at is what's the lifetime costs of this deployment. So you start to then say, well, if I took this to a position where I can deploy it now, what would it require for me to be able to have this still working in a year's time, 2 years' time, 3 years' time? Parts of that then look at the underlying systems and data that I'm using are going to change on a 2-year, 3-year basis. So I'm going to have to, if I build it, maintain the integrations that I have with the underlying systems. So potentially having a full rebuild every few years. If I buy a solution, what does that mean in terms of the reduced maintenance costs while you do have the license fee that you're paying? So it's a difference in that lifetime value that you then start to say from the implementation.